Hello, this is Dr. Jimmy. After many months, I'm now resuming my series of Horror Nights history. Now I will hopefully complete the history of Halloween Horror Nights 18 Reflections of Fear with this video, part 15. Part 14 was posted back in January. My goodness, here it is, August already. It's been 8 months. I'm sorry for the long delay. I've been quite busy with all sorts of things. In fact, I wasn't sure I'd get this done this weekend. Today's been a very busy day. New doctor and all of that. But enough of all that, because otherwise I'll never get this done, and I might not get it done in one video because there's a hellacious amount of information. We are now coming to that part of Halloween Horror Nights 18, having covered all of the houses and scare zones and shows. We are coming to the event, the most wonderful part of the event for many of us, Legendary Truth, the Legendary Truth game. As you may recall, back in August of 2008, when the fall site went up for Halloween Horror Nights 18, we discovered an interesting group called Legendary Truth were investigating the mystery of Mary Agana. Indeed, during the website build, there had been a mysterious investigator named Boris Schuster investigating Mary Agana. And as a result, there was this group, and they had a strange event occurred where many of them apparently disappeared while investigating the old clinic 50 years after Mary mysteriously disappeared. Well, we soon found in August and early September a website called Legendary Truth, the Collective. We discovered this paranormal research organization was housed in Princeton, New Jersey at the university there, run by Dr. Calvin Thorncastle with other assistants such as Dr. Richard Steerington and many other interesting persons. On August 27th, there was a newspaper article about Mary's disappearance revealed on that website. There was various information about Mary posted in early September on that as well. This was on the original website, a lot of newspaper articles and all sorts of interesting things, the appointment book, all of that was being looked at. As a bit of a tease, the people who are interested in the Legendary Truth were given a site where previous investigations were posted on the website by carefully. These were done with initials and coordinates that were, I believe, either GPS coordinates or possibly zip codes. Whatever it was, we're using that. We identified all those other mysterious investigations. They turned out to be places like the Salem witch trials, supposed hauntings in Alcatraz, the cemetery in New Orleans, the Amityville house, and a few other famous haunted areas. And so we got an idea of the sort of thing Legendary Truth looked into. But things really got exciting in October when the event began. It really started for us on October 9th. Those who had registered at the Legendary Truth website got emails. We were told that the campaign would begin on the dates of October 12th, 16th, 23rd, and 29th. On those dates, credentials would be given out to those wanting to play the game. Of course, the game had already been going on a bit by the 29th, but if you'd still get your credentials late if you hadn't got them earlier. October 12th was the first date. The email was very vague and said that location would be given later. It was, in fact, the following day, October 10th, that it had coordinates given. These were map coordinates. Using those coordinates, we discovered the location would be, in fact, inside Universal Studios, Florida, the location being the Gardens of Allah, located in the Central Park area. Actually, the Gardens of Allah were historically bungalow apartments in Hollywood, California. It was originally built as part of the Hollywood area, and there was an attraction there many years ago about making movies and such. But now it's sort of buildings that just sort of stand there with nothing going on. There are various offices and storage areas. adjacent to the Café La Bamba restaurant. But a very picturesque way of, and you can also cut through there to go directly into Kid Zone without going all the way around, which is fun. But it was in that area that they set up a field office for Legendary Truth. And those of us who showed up with the password, Agana, got the CFO credentials. Of course, it's backwards, but Legendary Truth, CFO All Access. CFO stands for Collective Field Operative. The Collective Field Operatives were supposed to be working together with Collective Research Operatives who would be at home, because not everybody could be in the park on every date. The idea is you would team up with a CRO. You were given a code word for the CRO of your choice, and they could use that word to access on the website a credential they could print out for themselves that said CRO. And so the CROs would team up with CFOs in various investigations in the park itself. These investigations really started going right about October 10th. The first preliminary investigations were before they handed it out, the credentials, you see. They wanted us to go to certain places in the park and take pictures. That way we could, and we're supposedly investigating sites of paranormal activity, these being the scare zones, and take pictures of the mysterious creatures there, tree-type creature and the headless horseman in the American Gothic area. But whilst we were doing so, we also came across an interesting document which was posted as part of the scare zone. The document identified Andrew Borden, the father of Lizzie Borden, who was part of it, as a casket maker, and that was significant. And when they took a picture of that, that got posted as something that we were supposed to uncover. That gave us the idea that we're looking for things that are posted around the park. This was around the 11th and 12th, right about the first document was on the 12th, the first day we got these credentials, as I said. Right. Now, on the 16th, we were supposed to take a look around, and again on October 16th was the next big day of gameplay. On that day, we were looking around, and we were supposedly supposed to find connections to the patients. As we all knew from the casebook, Mary Agana had several patients who seemed to correspond to the houses. And we were supposed to identify those persons, and their names were hidden in the park. Most of these were discovered in a New York Street area in windows. And the names of the patients we uncovered were a Lieutenant von Stebler. We found the name von Stebler. We found the name Charlie McPherson, photographer, and that was over in the newspaper office on New York Street. John Deedle, Diane Bennett, Thornton Kesterson, Christian Kupsch, David, and of course Boris Schuster. These were all names that we'd seen before, Boris Schuster of course, but by identifying all the various names, Eileen Harrell, Lieutenant von Stebler, Charlie McPherson, Johnny Deedle, Diane Bennett, Thornton Kesterson, Christian Kupsch, we found these names located in various places on windows, and so those were all identified by the 17th of October. Also on the 16th was a very interesting thing. Appeared in Hollywood Boulevard was a large placard of a travel by ship, and that was a bit of a clue, and people thought, oh, we're going to get a boat ride. And of course they went to Amity to look up the Amity Jaws area, and the mysterious person appeared. It was actually Rick Spencer, but he was supposedly some sort of old sea captain, and he spoke and was interviewed by the CFOs and told that there was a connection between all the patients' names that we had uncovered before, and there was a connection to all of them in Mary Agana and her families, some sort of family connection of their ancestors that was mentioned, and they would have wished that they'd never been born. So, some sort of strange, if they'd known what was going to happen, some weird cryptic stuff like that. we all hoped that the sea captain would take us on a boat ride, but that didn't happen. You can actually find the interview with the sea captain on YouTube, by the way, somewhere. I know that it was posted up. So you can actually see this event as it occurred. And that was on October 16th. Now, other documents were also found on October 16th and the 17th in the Streets of Blood. I had mentioned that investigating scares, and some of the early stuff was taking pictures of the rabbit and taking pictures of various characters, and that was important, but that wasn't really part of the game. It was just a test to see if we could do some investigating. So in Streets of Blood, mind you, we found more documents. There were these death certificates located on the coffins there of the names of some of the Ripper's victims, thus connecting to the theme of the zone. But it was signed by this person whose name was very strange. And we wondered if it had anything to do with the real-life Ripper event. It didn't seem to wash. Was it a forgery? Because that wasn't the person who would have signed these. So that was interesting, and that was part of the documentation we uncovered. All right. That was around the 17th. On the 6th, on the 23rd of October was a very significant event. We had a briefing. We all went into the location on Hollywood Boulevard in the park for the horror makeup show building, and there we all sat down and we met Dr. Calvin Thorncastle and a couple of supposedly security individuals from Legendary Truth, a couple of unnamed operatives, a man and a woman, and they all talked to us and gave us some information. We had to do another assignment. There were all sorts of clues, horrible clues in various languages, all sorts of languages, European language like Serbian and Afrikaans and all sorts of strange dialects, and we had to, again, working with our CFOs at home who were quickly, because we have the iPhones. Nowadays we have Google and everything else. Back then the best we could do was email and or text and see if they could look up on the computers what was going on back home, and they could tell us what that translates that and let us know what it meant. Thus we had the working back and forth. It was necessary to have work back and forth from home, and some of the clues, for example, to find things and those names, those were on the computer while we were in the park, and so the person on the website would find the clue, tell us on telephone or text message where we were supposed to go, then we would find the clues. That's how it worked, the team up between the CRO and the CFO. And they did the decoding, translating, and it gave us clues of where to go to find out more information. One of the more important things that was discovered on the 26th, for example, was a marriage certificate, which we discovered in Asylum in Wonderland. So all this sort of thing was starting to uncover stuff. The big thing that came up on the 29th was a device that we discovered after going to several different locations. We ended up finding a device located in that area, that little alleyway right next to Finnegan's. And the mysterious device would then scan several of those people who came to that device, would scan them. What that exactly meant, we didn't know. That was never, in fact, ever explained why that device scanned some of us, but we were also given into certain groups, little cells. And so from then on we would be working in these little cells, supposedly, although we didn't always meet up. But that would assign us to a different cell. Okay. Eventually we uncovered an enormous amount of information about the various patients of Mary Agana, their families and their history, and the historical background. All of this ultimately, in early November at the schoolhouse, turned out to be that they were all descended from the original school children in Cary, Ohio in the 19th century, and that Mary Agana's grandmother had been the teacher at that school, and they had killed her, and that was the reason that Mary was taking revenge on those patients in her casebook and the horrible way they were all treated. As an ultimate result, we had a photograph showing it, and so that sort of solved the mystery in a way. We know why Mary Agana did what she did, why she became Bloody Mary. In fact, she was probably the granddaughter of the original Bloody Mary, she was also apparently some sort of supernatural being and perhaps possessed by the spirit of her grandmother. And Boris Schuster apparently was the one who founded Legendary Truth. He was not the 8th patient. That was somebody else. And so Boris Schuster founded this organization, and we were told then, after that, we got our boat ride, and we all rode on the boat, and the Amity with Captain Lazy Bastard. During that meeting on the 23rd, we asked, are we going to get a boat ride? Why didn't we get a boat ride? And the answer was, because the captain is a lazy bastard. So that's what we've called that character ever since. The Captain Lazy Bastard, that's Rick Spencer, took us on the boat ride and told us that Boris Schuster is still alive somewhere, has a nice house apparently in Amity. Although, since Amity is gone, where's he living now? Is he still living now? All of these mysteries that have never been revealed. Oh dear. Alright, now this particular video is over 15 minutes already. I'm going to do a second video, that'll be part 16, which will give the full details of all the patients and their relationships that we uncovered during our investigation. So, that'll be just a few minutes, I guess.